Say you just got yourself a new piece of electronics for your rocket. Say you might be doing staging or dual deployment, and you want to make sure it works before you launch the button. That's called ground testing, and that's what I'm going to cover in this video.
Welcome to Advanced Construction Videos, where we show you how to tackle rocketry building techniques and more. On our website, we sell kits, motors, building supplies, and electronics. So come and learn, shop, build, and fly when you visit us at apogeerockets.com.
Hi, I'm Milligan from Apogee Components. So today I want to talk to you about ground testing, which is verifying that the electronics that you have for your rocket will work as intended before you actually put them in the rocket and fly it. We want to be safe, so we want to make sure things work. So there's two steps in ground testing. The first one is to turn everything on, make sure you can fire off the igniters, and then the second phase is to verify that the ejection charge that you have in the rocket will actually separate the nose cone and bring out the parachute. So there's basically two steps. One is indoors and the other one's going to be outdoors. So on my table here I have a variety of electronics, and I don't want to cover every device because that would take too long, but we have videos on the Apogee website showing how to turn them on and how to test them. So I want to point you back to those videos for a specific device. So in generic terms, what I'm doing here today is just verifying that I can fire off an igniter. You can do this indoors, just be careful, wear safety glasses. So here I just have this is a Featherweight Blue Jay Plus. This is just one of them that we sell. This is the one that I just happened to hook up. So it has a terminal block that you'll connect the battery connector to, plus your, and you'll see it on the device. It says Apogee and main. So I have two igniters, one for Apogee, one for main. So I just want to turn it on, make sure everything's working. So on this one here, I'm just going to hook up the battery. Don't have my glasses on. There we go. Okay, the battery's hooked up. On this particular one, it has a switch that's already built in, and you can turn it on with a magnet. And you can see just the magnet right here turned it on. If I get the magnet close enough again, it might turn it off, so I want to keep it away. So when I do this test, I want to make sure that the igniters are up off the table so that I'm not burning my table. And you're going to test it according to the instructions that come with the device. Now this particular one, I'm going to test it using my phone because it has a Bluetooth connection. Not all of them do that. Some are, I know there are people out there that don't want to get involved with using their phones. Which is fine because we have other altimeters that will do that, but this one just makes it easy for demonstration purposes. So I select my app, and then I select my device. It's connecting. I find my altimeter. It's downloading the previous flight. And then I am going to do a ground test. On this one, it has ground test on the application, and I can only do one at a time. So this one actually has a camera built in, so you can actually photograph it when it happens. So I'll do that right here. I'm going to do the Apogee charge, which is, I think it's this one. No, this one. So I'm just going to start the countdown, and it's going in 3, 2, 1, fire. All right, so that worked really good. You could see one of the tests that I want was to see if the igniter fires quickly. If it doesn't fire quickly, that's a bad problem to have in your flight, because then you never know if you're going to, it has enough energy to start the reaction to set off the ejection charge. That's why you don't want to use an Estes igniter as one of the igniters in the flight, because they take so much voltage and current to heat up that, you know, the altimeter, it's only going to put out so much voltage for a certain period of time. And if that's not enough time to get the igniter to heat up properly, it's not going to fire off the ejection charge. So you're also testing batteries with the igniter. So your battery, the igniter is going to determine which battery you use. And if you go to the Apogee website, we'll tell you if it's a low current igniter. And typically the low current ones kind of look like this. They kind of look like E-matches. They go under different names. The ones that we sell are called Firewire. And there's two sizes. So those take very little current. This battery is a 2-cell LiPo, so it can do other igniters besides these. But for these, the battery that you need is pretty small. This is like way overkill for most dual deployment flights. So that is what you want to do indoors. And so now we're going to take the rocket here, and we're going to take this one outdoors, and we're going to do a deployment test, verifying that we can get the parachute out of the rocket. And I'm going to show you how to do that one as well.
In case you were wondering, I get to film my dad getting to blow up a rocket or something, so welcome to this adventure. Should be interesting.
So what we're going to do is an ejection charge test, and I've got this rocket pretty much set up. So I got a parachute in here, plus a heat shield in there, and I've already installed my igniter in here. To set this off, all we need is a spark. So I'm just going to use a regular launch controller, and I'm going to run the wires out the back, because all we're testing here is to make sure that we can get the nose cone off cleanly. I've got some shear pins in here, so we want to make sure that the ejection charge is strong enough to shear the pins and push the nose off. So at this point, I'm just going to put everything together. So the wires, they just come out the back here, and I'll just hook my alligator clips here to the back. But I'm going to put I got some rivets here that hold this part together, and so that it will shear up there at the top. Okay, so now, normally you would do this twice, once for the main parachute compartment, and then once here for the drogue chute. When you're doing the drogue chute, you do have to put a motor in here to cap that off, or otherwise all the pressure is just going to come out here. Since I'm doing this part, we're already blocked off here on the back, so I don't have to worry about having the motor in. And this is nice and convenient, because now I can just feed my wires in through the bottom and out the top. Okay, so I'm going to go set this up out there and then hook these clips up to those wires, and we'll go ahead and do the ejection charge test. Okay, so I'm all set up. I got my wires going up through. I got this up against something heavy because, you know, Newton's third law of motion says action-reaction. So there's a reaction going to go this way, but I just want to kick the nose off this way, and it's just going to go shooting out there into the grass. And I just got it angled up a little bit. In fact, I want to get this over here because I don't want to put any more friction on here, because that wouldn't be a good test. So I'm going to take the controller and we'll do a test. So I want to get back as far as I can to be safe. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. 3, 2, 1, fire. And it came off really nice. So sheared the pins. So that was a really good test. So that's how you do an ejection charge test to test your deployment system. So in conclusion, I hope you understand that doing ground testing isn't that complicated. It sounds complicated, but you basically just need to know how to turn on your altimeter and how to fire off those ejection charges, or the igniter that fire off the ejection charges. And then everything else is pretty simple. We have a lot of videos on the Apogee website. For example, videos on determining how much ejection charge you're going to need in your rocket. And then different videos on hooking up electronics, like how to do staging with electronics, how to do dual deployment. So come back to us if you have any questions. Our web address is www.apogeerockets.com. My name again is Tim Van Milligan. Thanks for watching. May the winds be light, may the skies be blue, and may all your rockets fly straight and true.